Alright, welcome to this ProPresenter tutorial. Today we're going to create a song. I'm going to, I'm at my home computer. I'm going to connect to the church's computer using a program called AnyDesk, similar to TeamViewer, but my favorite feature of this is there's one password and it doesn't change every time the machine is restarted. Very convenient. I encourage you to look into using it. If you want any help setting it up or anything like that, just let me know. So here we are. We're looking at the screen on the computer in the sanctuary. I'm going to go ahead and open up ProPresenter. And while that's opening, what we're going to be doing is we're going to create a song. I'm going to look in the library here in a second and see whatever I haven't created yet. We'll go ahead and create the next one. So in the T's, today is the day. Looks like the last one we have in the library. So I'm going to look in the OneDrive under Documents, CCVB Media, CCVB PowerPoint, and Worship Songs. And we have all these worship songs. These have been created by our fearless leader. And so we'll just come on down here. Today is the day. It looks like the next song is Tremble. So I'm going to open this up. It's just going to open in PowerPoint. Um, if you have two screens, this is a whole lot easier, more convenient, because you can throw PowerPoint over on your second screen, and it's just easier than having to swap back and forth between the programs. But I'm going to pretend like we're at the church doing this and using only one screen. So what I'll be doing is to go between the programs. You can come down here to the taskbar and you can select them, whatever you need to move between. Or you can use Alt Tab, which on your keyboard, which I highly recommend. Makes your workflow a whole lot easier. So here we are in PowerPoint. Too many PP programs. Um, Over on the left, this should be all familiar. Here's all our lyrics. Um, 16 slides worth. So I'm going to Alt Tab back to ProPresenter. Remember, the song we're creating is Tremble. We'll come up here to our lyrics library. Make sure that's highlighted. And two different ways you can do it. I can select the plus icon right here. It's going to be a left click and go to New Presentation. Or you can use the keyboard shortcut Control N. I always encourage keyboard shortcuts. Just makes your workflow a whole lot simpler. This little window is going to pop up the file name, just going to be the song name. So Tremble, the theme. We've created themes. For right now, you don't need to know anything about that. Just know they exist and they live right here in the CCVB folder. And we have one for scripture. Kind of ignore this one and this one. Those were experimenting. But this one, since it's a song, we're going to be using the lyrics one. And make sure this drop down right here decides where it's going to be saved. It's a song. We want it in the lyrics library. And I'm going to drop this down, and you can see that this list matches the libraries that we have over here. So lyrics library, leave the size at 1080 and hit new. That brings us to this window. From here, we're in the actual presentation right now. In in the lyrics, there's Tremble, so that's what we're working on. We're going to go to edit, and this is our one slide in this song for right now. The first step we're going to do is come over here to slide 1. I'm going to right click on it and duplicate. There's also a keyboard shortcut which I'll be using going forward, and that's Control D. Again, I encourage keyboard shortcuts because. Here's our first lyric slide. Um, and you can see when you duplicate it, it literally duplicates it. It's the exact same. So it just has a different slide number. So we're ready to start copying and pasting lyrics. I'm going to Alt Tab back to PowerPoint, go to my first lyric slide here, and I'm just going to left click and select. And from here, just like any text editor, I can right click and copy, or again, the keyboard shortcut, Control C. Now I'm going to Alt Tab back to ProPresenter. I'm going to double click where it says text here. I'm going to hit, in this instance, you can right click, and the paste and match style is going to be Alt V. And what that does is going to paste it into the slide using the text properties that we've created within that theme of lyrics. So again, keyboard shortcut Alt V. You can see the cursor down here. It just means it's on another line. We don't need it there. We don't want it there. So I'm going to hit backspace to move it up here. And that just, you can see it evens out the alignment, makes everything look nice and pretty. And it'll keep it all consistent from slide to slide. So now back over here, I'm going to Control D to duplicate. Alt Tab, back to PowerPoint, go to the next slide. Left click and highlight. Control C. Alt Tab to ProPresenter. Double click. Alt V. And move that cursor again. So on and so forth. Next slide. You can see now we're not kind of, we've moved into the chorus now. Control D, Alt Tab, Control C, Alt Tab, double click, Alt V, and backspace. So we've got a verse and we've got a chorus. I'm going to keep going. Control D. Control C, Alt Tab, double click, Alt V. Same steps. I'm not going to keep repeating them. I'll timestamp the video if you need to go back and look at something. Now, here's a situation. We've come up on the chorus again. We've already copied these two, so we don't need to keep copying the chorus as long as it's the same. If it has more than one chorus, sometimes you'll run across a song that kind of changes up, adds a line, changes a word. Just pay attention to that. In this instance, we don't need to copy the chorus again. So I'm going to skip down here, and this is the next slide we need to copy. Control C. And again, I'm just copying them. Same thing we did before. And we're back to the chorus. And then these are the same. I believe this is going to be the bridge here. Then the chorus. So we've got all the pieces of the songs copied. We've got all the pieces of the song copied over now. I duplicated this one before. It turns out we don't need this one. So I can just right click and delete, or hit delete on the keyboard, whichever you want. And so now we're going back to show. So we've got all the pieces of the song in here. And this is our edit view. We're still in the library. Edit view of the presentation. First thing we do, click on slide 1. That's a left click to highlight it, as is evidenced by the orange frame around it. Right click, and I'm going to add an action. And add action, audience look, and this is a song, so the action we're adding is worship. What the audience look actions do is it determines how it's going to show up on our various screens. Those have been created already. It's outside the scope of this video. If we need to go into that later, we can. in a later video, that is. But for now, just know that songs get assigned the action, audience, look, worship. And when I select that, this little icon up here shows up letting you know that there's an action assigned. And by doing it on the first one, you can select them all. I've got the first one selected. I'm going to hold shift and left click to select them all. And I can add that action to all of them if I wanted to. It hurts nothing. Um, Otherwise, you just have, if you don't add it to all of them, you just have to remember this one, this first slide will have to be the first slide that you click in order to set up the rest of them to show up correctly. But if we add it to all of them, it doesn't matter which one you select first. You'll be good to go as far as that goes. Um, I mentioned screens a second ago. This right here is our preview area. And this right here where it says Sanctuary, we only have two screens set up. We have Sanctuary, and then there's one called Live Stream. As I'm sure you can deduce from this, Sanctuary is what we see in the Sanctuary, and Live Stream is what is seen on the live stream. Shouldn't be rocket surgery there. So we're going to start with Sanctuary, and when I click on this, this is how the lyrics are going to show up in the Sanctuary. If I want to know how they're going to look on the live stream, guess what? I just select live stream, and that's what they look like on the live stream. And that's what we want them to look like. Normally, the video input would be on, and you would see the camera view behind this. And but obviously the camera's not on right now, so but that is how how we want the lyrics to show up, and that's a good thing. Now switching from slide to slide right now is just a cut change. It's harsh, immediate, looks the same, and that's fine. That'll work just fine. But to just make it a little more aesthetically pleasing, we're going to add a transition to it, and that's done right here. I'm going to left click here, and the default one we've been using is dissolve. That just gives it a kind of real quick fade in, fade out. Just leave the duration where it's at, and to get out of this window, just click anywhere outside of it. And notice now this is orange, letting you know that there is a transition assigned, and to learn what it is, you got to open it up. See how that's highlighted. But notice how the lyrics now, the transition is a little softer. So that's kind of our default, and that can change. That's nothing hard and fast there, but just trying not to be too flashy about it. So now we're set up. We have all of our lyrics in here, but this isn't the way the song will be performed, and we know that. Alt tabbing back over to ProPresenter because again, our fearless leader has created these in the order that we would normally perform it in. And for this one, you can see we're going to go verse, chorus, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, bridge, chorus. So that's the arrangement. And over here, well, we don't see any of that. So what do? What we're going to do is I'm going to select this. Like first right here, this little thing that looks like a film strip and cleverly called arrangements. We're going to click that so we can make an arrangement. It opens up in the master arrangement. The master contains all the pieces of the songs, but not the repetition of the various pieces which make up the arrangement. So first in our master, we need to create the groups that are part of the song. And to do that, I'm going to right click. I'm going to go down here to group, and these first slides we know are verse 1. Now notice it assigned verse 1 to every slide. It does that. It will assign whatever you call it. It'll carry that forward until it hits the next tag that you assign. So right now I don't have any more tags, so it just assumes we have a song that is nothing but a verse, which would be kind of weird. But So we got the first two slides or verse, and then we come to the chorus. I'm going to highlight that one by left clicking. I'm going to right click, come down here to group, and I'm going to select chorus. Note, it did the same thing. Everything is now the chorus, which obviously doesn't work either. So we have two slides worth of chorus, and then we have another verse. So I'm going to right click on that, go to group. This is verse 2, and then these two slides we know are the bridge. So group, bridge, and there's all the pieces of our song, and you see those up here across the top. We have a verse 1, chorus, a verse 2, and a bridge. But like we looked at over here in PowerPoint, too many PP programs, that's not the arrangement. See, because we go verse 1, chorus, verse 2, chorus again. But here it's verse 1, chorus, verse 2, bridge. So how do we fix that? Come here to master. I'm going to drop it down and choose new arrangement. I've just been calling them default because that's descriptive of what it is. It's the default way that we perform it. And now, see, I've got these groups down here. And you notice if I hover over one, there's an X. If I accidentally put something in there that I didn't want in that arrangement, I can hit X, takes it out. Now to add it back, or to add the extra pieces to make the arrangement, I can just click up here, left click, and I'm just going to drag it down. Wherever that yellow bar appears is where it's going to go. And you can see it drops those slides in. So if you remember, we're going verse 1, chorus, verse 2, chorus. So I'll come up here, select chorus, drag it down, it drops the chorus in again. Then we're going to do the bridge. How many times did we do the chorus? We said verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, bridge, chorus. So bridge, chorus, bridge, chorus. And that's the arrangement. And you can see it added the slides in order. So when we go to actually perform the song and we're switching through the slides, we don't have to, when we get done with verse 2, oh man, now I got to jump back up here to the chorus. It's right there. You can just keep going in a linear progression. It just makes it easier to deal with. So yeah, there's our default arrangement. Looks great. A couple things I want to point out. I don't think I mentioned this earlier. We always leave the first slide blank so that when we put it into the service playlist, we can add our background to it, because these backgrounds are seasonal, as y'all know, and you can just drag them up there. So we leave it blank. These letters, you see an A there, a C, S, B, and if you look down at your keyboard, you're going to see A is your first verse, right? And then the verses are going to progress left to right on your keyboard on that home row. A, S, right? First verse, second verse. If there was a third and fourth, they would be on D, F, so on and so forth. The chorus, cleverly assigned C, and the bridge, equally cleverly assigned B. So if I get down here and we finish the chorus, and then the leader decides, oh, I want to do verse 1 again, and as Murphy would have it, I drop the mouse. Now what do? I can reach on the keyboard and I can hit the letter A, and it'll take me right up to the letter where the letter A is, verse 1. And then he gets done with that. No, now I want to do the bridge, and I kicked the mouse when I dropped it, so I'm stuck with my keyboard again. I just hit B, takes me down to the bridge. Those are pretty convenient, because it's all hypothetical, of course, because we know that the worship leader never skips around in a song, or just decides to start on the bridge rather than verse 1. But if something strange should happen, that's how we can quickly navigate, and or we could just not drop the mouse, but it happens. Another way just to move through these, um, I can click on the slides to progress through. I can use the left and right keys on the keyboard to move through. Do not use up and down, because it would seem like if I hit up right now, it would take me up to slide number 2, verse 1. It would not. It will jump you down to the next presentation, which is not at all what we want in the middle of a performance. So left and right only. You can also notice that each slide has a number on it. I can say, for whatever reason, I wanted to go from slide 8 back over here to slide 5, even though it's the same words. If I wanted to go to 5, I can hit on the keyboard. I'm going to hit the number 5 and then press enter, and it's going to move over there. And you'll see a 5 pop up here when I do it, and it moved over to 5. That to me is never really, it doesn't really seem that convenient to me, but it's out there. If you want to use it, feel free. I think that about covers this window. We've got our default arrangement. Now it's time to put the song into use. We're going to pretend that it's going to be used on Wednesday night. So a couple different ways we can do that is I can, right down here, I can right click and I can come up here to add to, and I can add it wherever I want it to. Wednesday night is what we're talking about. So I could click Wednesday, or I could left click to highlight, and I could just drag it up to Wednesday. And when I let go right here, whatever you add, it's always going to add it as the last element. And obviously, this doesn't want to be in the sermon section, so I'm going to highlight that, and I'm just going to drag it up to the worship section. And there it is. Right? Did I drag the wrong one? I did, didn't I? Get out of there. Let's go back to lyrics. Let's get Tremble and drag it up. What in the world? There we go. I don't know what that was about, but not today, Satan. Okay, maybe today. There we go. So now Tremble is where I wanted it. And we can see it right here. It has no background though, right? So the background images are right down here. If the background image that you want is not down here, you can go, this is a pinned folder right under quick access assets, and this has every piece of media in ProPresenter that we've ever used in ProPresenter. So hopefully you know the name of what you want to use if it comes to this. But the easy way, and we try to, as we switch these images, I try to put them down here. Sometimes I forget, but you can just highlight it, drag it up here, and now you can see that's what you see in the sanctuary. Live stream, you don't see the image because you're looking at the camera view. So, and that again, that's all set up in the looks, the audience look. So there's our song created, added to the playlist for Wednesday, and that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching this. If you've got any questions, you can comment below. I will make a timestamp for this video so you can switch or jump to whatever section that you want to jump to, or if you need to review, that'll help you out. So thanks for watching. God bless.